Here is the autopsy of MicMacs. This is Salman.
And this is Kevin.
So, Kevin, what is this movie about?
Well, maybe the first thing I should say is this is a film by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who's known to most people as the director of Amélie, the director of City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, some other stuff, Aliens 4.
And very long engagement.
And very long engagement. So if you're familiar with any of those titles, I mean, you already have a picture in your mind in terms of what kind of film this will be. And I think on that front, Jeunet really delivers. This is a very imaginative film about a collection of slightly oddball characters. I kind of like to think of them as misfit superheroes, if you will, who go about seeking revenge on two big French companies. I don't want to give too much away. And it's very playful. And I mean, it's more than saying what the film's about. I think it's a collection of really beautiful scenes. As you said, it's also a little bit of a heist film. It's an homage to old black and white cinema. It's I think it's less concerned about the story it's telling than the way it tells its story.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting film. It certainly has, I would say, you cannot complain about lack of creativity. It has, in fact, I would say that here, if you were to fault this film, it's for a little too much creativity. There's too many things going on, and there's beautiful scenes. There are, and sometimes I wish that they would explore those themes a little bit more. Or they would go in a particular thing. So at one point, for example, this person, I mean, we can set it up a little bit. So the protagonist, his father has died from a landmine accident, and then he himself has a bullet lodged in his head, and
all within the first 4 minutes.
First 4 minutes, we're not giving anything away, and pretty much the reason why the bullet has not been lodged out was because of the surgeon basically doing a coin toss, and he said, "Hey, leave it in." So okay, so that's why. So there are very interesting scenes where what's going on in his head comes up, but unfortunately that is not explored too much in the film. But that's a wonderfully creative idea. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned about like the homage to black and white films, there is one scene in particular which I absolutely loved, and that is a clear homage to Chaplin, and it's just a beautiful and very sweet film.
A lot is expressed in that scene in particular at the taxi stand, and then other moments in the film are just really brilliant, creative, and sweet. But I think we both kind of agree that where the film falls short is that it's short on plot. It's short on dramatic tension, and when tension does come into the film,
it's a little too late. Yeah, I mean, you want stakes to be high. There is no question that we care about the characters. The characters are very sweet. We like them.
Very original.
Very original. Everybody, all of the characters, basically, they live in a car junkyard.
They live in a junkyard, and they all have their special talents.
Yeah.
There's a contortionist. There's this artistic guy who's also exceptionally strong, but he's very tiny. There's a young woman whose mind is like a calculator. There's one guy has all these different steel parts in him. He was a human cannibal at one point, and I mean, it's just the characters are as imaginative as some of the gadgetry in the film, and also the way he chooses to film some things. There's some really great cinematography and camera moves. But maybe had he stepped outside the film, or maybe let somebody else read the screenplay before he went and shot it.
Yeah, I think he
could have made it a little bit more interesting.
I think he just got to all the plots in there. So the plots are against. Basically, it's a very clear-cut message. It's against, I would say, he's not fond of arms dealers.
I think of arms dealers.
That's a very clear-cut message, and the movie is set up against them. But the plots in there, and there are many, many, many plots. They are so creative, so inventive. Except that he forgot to include the audience in it. I mean, these happen, and you go like, "Wow, it's very interesting." They're very strange. They're very enjoyable. but there is no tension. And I think that's something that if there was tension in it, this movie would have been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, imagine a film like Amelie or City of Lost Children, but without any of the real dramatic, interest and really, compelling storytelling. All the same, I do have to I will recommend this film because it's, again, Junet is such a unique visionary when it comes to filmmaking that his stuff is just always so enjoyable to watch, and the use of the music was good, and the actors are all sweet and interesting, of course, except for the two big arms dealer CEOs. So I say spend some time with MicMacs.
Yeah, I think it's very creative film. I think if you go in, I think you will enjoy it if you don't expect a plot-driven film. I think individual scenes are absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for creativity, I think this is a very good film. A very good film. And one of the other movies that it reminded me of was a movie that we saw recently, and that was the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus
By Terry Gilliam.
And if you get a chance,
yeah, that was brilliant.
If you get a chance, check that out because that movie played for a very brief amount of time.
Considering the star actors, it was Heath Ledger's last film. Colin Farrell's in it. Johnny Depp's in it. Jude Law's in it. Christopher Plummer. I mean, it's amazing. That film just got.
I should say Tom Waits is in it.
Tom Waits was fantastic. And so, okay, you came on to listen to an film autopsy of MicMacs, but we're going to close by saying go see it, but also go see the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Rent the DVD. All right. Autopsy ends here.